Rickety rock band, we're guitar picking. Grab a drumstick and your foot starts kicking. Playing a guitar with no lights on, and now the night's gone. To the dancing games we'll move along. Like Harrison Ford, my moves are frantic. Connect makes me sick. VR is guaranteed to satisfy. Like see from Minecraft, I don't miss blocks. Okay, I miss blocks, but my score's like it's pretty high.
Red's gonna tell you why these rhythm games appease. Dance and drum and sing until you fall down to your knees. These games that are rhythmic, they appeal to all our hearts. Red is here to tell us why, beginning with DDR.
It's hard not to admire Dance Dance Revolution. Not only is it a staple of every single arcade across both America and Japan, but it was also a staple of my childhood. DDR is one of my all-time favorite video game franchises. At first glance, it may not look like much, but after giving DDR a fair shot, it became one of the most enchanting games I'd ever played. It's got a catalog of music that will simultaneously make your heart sing while also embarrassing you to your very core. With classics like Oh Nick Please Not So Quick, a song about a prick named Nick who wants to stick his dick betwixt her slick brick. Or Dream a Dream, a personal favorite of mine, a song by the artist named Captain Jack, who ooh-la-da-dee-la-da died of a stroke. Or so I thought. Apparently, he's still alive and well, dreaming a dream, training our female troops for battle in their standard issue bikinis. So, thank you for your service, I guess? And there was also a lot of really well-known mainstream songs too, such as Get Down Tonight by a band called and the Sunshine Band, Dance Dance by the one and only Fall Out Boy himself, and the Treadmill song from a band called OKGO. DDR always tried its best to ensure that there was a little something for everyone to enjoy. And because the dance pad peripheral wasn't tethered to any real-world instruments, just about any song could work in DDR as long as it was upbeat enough. DDR nailed its niche. It perfectly executed the idea of having a simple concept that was easy enough to immediately understand, but took a ton of time and effort to truly master. And if you had the dedication to clear even the simplest of songs on the hardest difficulty, oh lordy, let me tell ya, I've yet to feel more accomplished in all of my gaming career. Because this right here takes far more coordination than simply using a controller like with traditional video games. Unless if you hang on to that back bar. I mean, there's nothing dazzling about that. I feel as though clinging onto it removes a lot of the challenge. I mean, sure, it's there for you to balance yourself with, but this ain't Granny's physical therapy. I mean, look at this. These guys are practically cheating. The cameraman was so unimpressed here, he decided he would rather film the floor. I picked up smoking earlier this year, and I can still crush the arrows without holding on to the damn bar. And you know what? A lot of you kids out there are telling me to stop smoking. I don't need to stop smoking. I can smoke all I want. I'm young, I'm fertile, I'm never gonna die. Maybe I should stop smoking. Even though you're not really dancing, DDR makes you feel as though you are. Once you can truly feel the beat and get into the groove of a song, you enter what they call flow state. Although my brain is reading dozens of notes per second and my heart is about to explode, my mind is perfectly clear. There's really no greater sense of mental clarity or elation in all of gaming. DDR was a game that was both fun and uniquely healthy too, but unfortunately, as with all things, people moved on from DDR. I think the issue that a lot of people had with it was that it didn't seem so inviting.
Fucking love to do. Oh!
It looked difficult, and you ran the risk of publicly looking like an idiot if you didn't know how to play it. Hell, you ran that risk even if you did know how to play. In my mind, DDR not only put rhythm games on the map, but also helped popularize them. Dance Dance Revolution truly did revolutionize the rhythm gaming genre as a whole, and it paved the path for other franchises. Franchises like Guitar Hero and Rock Band, 2 games that said,
"Hey now, you're a rock star, put that strap on, go play plastic guitars all day. Sitting in my closet, waste of space." So, EA once said Guitar Hero makes that cash, we gotta hop on that trend, but with a drum set. Johnny said, "Yep, take the concept. I could use another mill myself. Take their idea and we rearrange." Well, the notes start coming, so you can't stop strumming. If you don't know the words, you can just start humming. The game thinks hums are genuine lyrics. So much to smack your plastic drums. Hit the foot pedal with your good feet. You're so immersed that you don't know you're not on stage at a real show.
Thank you. I remember Rock Band and Guitar Hero being a fad that completely swept the nation. If you went to any white person's house at the height of these games' popularity, you could bet your life on the fact that you'd find one of these bad boys stashed away somewhere. I think Guitar Hero and Rock Band got more popular than DDR because it was easier to immediately understand. I mean, it was based off of real-life instruments rather than being just 4 arrows on the ground, making it far more accessible to a larger audience, which meant that just about everyone in the family could join in on the fun too. If Grandma's arthritis was getting the best of her, she could mumble some Radiohead into the microphone. You know, you can actually plug this bad boy into your PC and use it to talk to your buddies on Discord. I wouldn't really recommend it though, because the audio quality is not really all that great. What you should be using is a mod mic.
This is an ad read for a product called Mod Mic. It can attach to all that you please, it's true. Oh, like your headset or a baguette, sky's the limit, and it's wireless, 12-hour battery, tireless. It has quick mute, friend can hear you, latency's low, milliseconds 34, show us how it sounds.
I've been using this bad boy for a couple of months now because the Antlion mod mic sounds pretty great. And I Antlion when I tell you that this is one of the best mics I've ever used for gaming. I even use this thing for my Twitch stream, so make sure you check my description or the pinned comment to get yourself a good deal on a mod mic. But for now, let's get back to the video. Let me clue you into Guitar Hero's secret sauce. When you put that strap over your shoulder and run your fingers across that fretboard and rest your thumb upon the plastic you strum, it feels like a convincing enough guitar. Especially when the music pops off and you start jamming out and hitting those notes, it's enough to trick your brain into thinking that you're performing an actual song. Jesus, son of a bitch, man. I swear to God, this thing must be busted or something. I am this close to throwing the damn thing in the trash. I'm so sorry about that, guys. Really, I'm so sorry. Anyway, Rock Band doubled down on Guitar Hero's idea by incorporating drums and a microphone. Yeah, so now you could perform platinum hits alongside the rest of the family, which fulfilled that garage band fantasy that a lot of people have in their teenage years. Later on, in an effort to compete with Rock Band, Guitar Hero also implemented drums and a microphone. So an issue both franchises had was that every single song was tethered to the 4 real-world instruments that each game provided. They couldn't branch out and do more electronic or piano-heavy music because every song needed to have some form of a guitar, bass, drums, and lyrics to sing along to. So diversity was a bit limited. And I personally wasn't a fan of most of the music from both franchises. I mean, here we got Def Leppard. Yeah, they certainly sound deaf to me. Rolling Stones, I think I'd rather be rolling in my grave. Kiss, yeah, my ass. The Doors, yeah, they're that way. And then Tool. Need I say more? Now, there's really nothing wrong with any of these artists, I just personally don't care for them. But clearly, these things that bothered me didn't bother the masses, because Rock Band and Guitar Hero both sold like hotcakes, huge amounts of money. As a matter of fact, Guitar Hero became the third largest video game franchise of all time, behind both Mario and Madden. Unfortunately, both Guitar Hero and Rock Band died an early death because EA and Activision got a little too greedy. Both publishers wound up flooding the market with far too many titles, and people got sick of the shtick pretty quick.
We can watch a movie and play Rock Band.
Billy Joel Rock Band.
That exists?
Yes.
Metal Track Pack Rock Band 4, Pearl Jam Live in VR, Country Track Pack Rock Band Unplugged Country Track Pack 2, Paul McCartney, Johnny Lennon, Harrison, and then the other Green Day Rock Band, Lego Rock Band Track Pack Volume 2. We had to milk the franchise, it was always on, and so we kept on shining. Modern hits, decades, Van Halen, Aerosmith, World Tour, Metallica, and then Live, which probably died. Rock the 80s on tour, Guitar Heroes 1 through 4. Activision took our cash, sayonara, goodbye.
All right, looks like I won't be needing this thing anymore. And yeah, I know, I forgot about DJ Hero, but come on, man, let's be honest. So did you. All right, now, if you'd excuse me for 1 second, I gotta slip into something a little bit more comfortable. A couple of years after Rock Band and Guitar Hero fizzled out, a hot new fad showed up to the dance floor. And that fad was, of course, motion controls. And with it came games like Dance Central, Dance Masters, and of course, Just Dance.
Don't need no controller to touch, but Connect doesn't work too much. Not too much. Although I just raised my hand, camera sees none of that. Where's my receipt? This thing's a joke. This thing's a joke. Can't return this to the store. I'd play Dance Masters, but I'd rather get drafted into war. But it's cool, we can dance on the Wii. It only tracks one hand, that's alright, alright.
Dance Central was actually a pretty cool game. Its biggest downfall, however, is that the Kinect, the device which reads your body's movements and implements them into the game, just wasn't very good at doing its job. Not all the time, though. It can be somewhat forgiving. But still, when you fundamentally don't trust that device to read your movements, it can be really deflating. Much like everything else I've talked about in this video, Dance Central is very easy for people to pick up and immediately understand. But unlike DDR, it taught people honest-to-God actual dance moves. So, if you wanted to, you could really learn to Superman that hoe. Pretty cool, huh? Dance Central was tremendous exercise, and you could get a lot of playtime out of it too. Each song had its own unique choreography that took a lot of time, skill, and coordination to master. I think the music selection was pretty decent for the most part. You had artists like Lady Gaga and songs like Funky Town. But on the other hand, you had some real stinkers like, my God, Pitbull, yuck, and Rupee. Who the hell is Rupee? However, much like with all Kinect games, it required far too much room to play, and there was an incredibly high likelihood that you'd look like an absolute idiot as you flailed around in your living room. Dance Masters, on the other hand, really didn't teach you any actual dance moves, well, at least not any that people would be using here in America. Rather than following the body of the on-screen avatar like in Dance Central, you merely had to perform the gestures you saw on screen. I could never really get into Dance Masters, which is odd because, fuck, that's hot. It's odd because it's made by the same exact studio that made DDR, Bamani. And I was really into Dance Central for a brief period of time. Just Dance is my least favorite of the three, but it's still going strong today thanks to the Switch. You can also learn genuine, honest-to-God dance moves from this series as well. However, it only tracks whichever hand you're holding the controller in, so you could theoretically sit on the couch and just move your one arm, but if you do that, you're cheating yourself out of an experience. After everybody realized that motion controls were flat garbage, there really wasn't much going on in the rhythm game scene. I mean, sure, we had some neat little indie games like Thumper, Arrow, and Crypt of the Necro Dancer, but none of those required you to buy a goofy peripheral to play them, so they really don't count. There really wasn't much going on in the musical game space. Until the future of gaming arrived. Virtual reality finally came around, and saved the day. And here we've come full circle, but instead of crushing arrows with our feet, we're slicing them with our hands in Beat Saber. Thanks to having a completely new way to play video games, VR allowed Beat Saber to put rhythm games back on the map in a pretty big way. Again, Beat Saber nailed the entire premise of having a gimmick that was easy to immediately understand, yet difficult to truly master, and it's also impressive to watch. Much like with DDR, Beat Saber's mechanics allow for just about any type of music to work with its gameplay. I mean, hell, with the modding community being what it is, you can even play through entire movies if you want to.
I'm an ogre! You know, grab your torch and pitchforks!
And yeah, you might look like an idiot as you flail around to the waffle monologue from Shrek in your living room. But with that headset on over your sockets, you can't see your friends and family's looks of disapproval. Now, that headset is one of Beat Saber's biggest strengths, because the immersive nature of virtual reality really allows you to enter that flow state far easier than you can in any of the other games I've mentioned throughout this video. But this headset is also one of Beat Saber's biggest weaknesses, because after long play sessions, it gets muggier than Shrek's swamp inside of this thing. Alright, it's your guys' turn. Now that VR gave the rhythm game genre a shot of adrenaline, a dozen unique entries blasted onto the scene like Synth Riders, Pistol Whip, and Audica, which is also an amazing rhythm game that you should really check out. And even with all those other titles out there, there's still a lot of room for experimentation within the VR space. You know what though, I never really gave Beat Saber an honest shot, but after giving it a fair chance in preparation for this video, I must say I'm really quite taken by it. The skill gap on there is insane. I've really been struggling to complete the classic song Love Shack by the B-52s on Expert. But there's a reason that Beat Saber is just as popular today as it was when it launched 3 years ago. I look forward to mastering this game in the same way I mastered DDR back in the day. In my pursuit of that mastery, while I was chopping away at these blocks, I felt myself slip away into that flow state, or I stumbled upon a poignant thought, also known as a Dance Dance revelation. You know that feeling you get when you can sense yourself getting better at a video game? When you've beaten an old high score or toppled that boss who's been hassling you for the past hour? Yeah, you know the feeling. There's a validating self-satisfaction that comes with that sense of progression. Oh, damn it, I missed one. I feel like rhythm games amplify that feeling tenfold, because unlike regular games which only involve a traditional controller, rhythm games require you to move your entire body. So not only are you getting better at a video game, but you're also getting better at life. Case in point, DDR gave me the cardio I needed to run away from all the babes that were chasing me. Chasing me because I'm just so goddamn good at Rock Band. Dance Central allowed me to seduce the special lady that finally caught up with me, and Beat Saber gave me the biceps I needed to defeat her father in a fight to the death. So long as gaming continues to evolve, developers will keep finding inventive new ways to turn music into a video game mechanic. And I, for one, can't wait to see what's next. So, what did we learn in this video? Well, it's a little bit tough to put it all into words, but perhaps we can put it all into song.
It's been one hell of a video. Click the link on the side cause of the title. 5 legs is what this guy has. To play Dance Dance Revolution like a big spaz. 3 ways to be in a band. These are just pieces of plastic made in Thailand. Yesterday I had failed this track. Moments ago I finally finished Love Shack. Oh, Dance Central taught me dance moves. Check out these sick grooves. I might as well be Michael Jackson. Feel the flow, I'm in the zone. I see a block, I swing and miss, freaking control, and I can feel them on ascending. Don't care too much of rock jams. I don't play Rock Band. I hate the boys of bestiality. Dance Central's got some good hits. If you are a bit shit, like tell me who the hell is Rupee? The pad is breaking, legs are aching. Gonna take a protein check. I play VR so that it won't disturb my neighbors. The studios they wanna do, but don't you know you just can't throw so many repetitious titles at your players? How can I help it if you're sluggish and you grab the bar? Trying hard not to sweat won't get you too far. I'm the kind of guy just wants to smoke them all. Don't tell me what to do, that's a doctor's call. I have a tendency to sweat under this headset. Looks like I'm gonna have to take off my shirt. It's been one hell of a parody. I play these games to get bare naked ladies, driveways commonly entailed, plastic guitars and drums at garage sales. These games are great exercise. I could destroy a newborn with my big thighs. DDR will forever charm me. I still can't believe Captain Jack's in the army. I still can't believe Captain Jack's in the army.
Now this video took an enormous amount of work and planning to pull off, and it was very expensive too, so maybe consider becoming a Patreon, because every single dollar I get from there goes right back into making videos like the one you just watched. Also, feel free to let me know what rhythm games I missed down in the comments so that I can maybe cover them in a future video. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye. Oh, actually, you know what? I was lucky enough to have bought the rare Nirvana collector's edition of Rock Band back in the day. Yeah, it came with a spoon, a lighter, a rubber tube, and a shotgun.